So, welcome to another episode of the AllGenGamers. This is episode 85, and it is actually the final episode that I will be on for a while because I'm taking my departure from the show. I'm one of your hosts, Johnny Millennium, and beside me, I have my co-host with the most, Rob Man.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me on again. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. Awesome to have you. And we have John, Gamester81, who's still a little under the weather.
I'm a little under weather, but it's great to be here. I wouldn't miss this for the world, man, for sure.
Absolutely. And quiet, as usual, but with a lot of knowledge behind it all, Pete Dorr.
I am very happy to be here, Johnny, and very happy for our guest as well.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. And our incredible recording genius, the guy who edits this podcast, who has been editing it for about a year and a half. Man, the super talented Jason EMU Heine.
Wow, really appreciate that, Johnny. Great to be here, loving being here, and very excited for this episode.
You know, this is amazing, and because this is my final episode, that to get the person that we have on is a true honor. And I think this is funny. You know you have an amazing guest on when you walk in and you're nervous. You're a bit nervous because you're so excited to talk to the person. It's funny, I talked to Gamester earlier in the week and he's like, dude, I'm nervous. And I talked to Rob tonight, and he's like, I was trying to like, okay, so we got to keep calm tonight, can't go, too fanboyish and all that. But we are excited to have Ernest Cline, the author of Ready Player One. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm excited to be here. I appreciate the invitation.
Oh man,
Don't forget about Fanboys, Johnny.
Well,
one of my favorite movies.
Can I say just one thing?
See, we all want to jump in here. I'm gonna Bob, you start us up.
I just want to start by saying, Ernie, being able to have you on tonight is fucking Airwolf.
There it is, Airwolf. Right on. It is. I feel like it's Airwolf that you guys invited me, so I concur.
It's great. And we have a little tradition of breaking the ice on the show. It's a little tradition I started. And that is where we ask our guest what their favorite video game of all time is. And we're going to put you out there. And I know it's a tough one because I'm sure you love a lot of games. I'm putting you on the spot. Go for it. What is your favorite video game of all time?
Favorite video game of all time? Man, you guys know how hard that question is.
Yeah, we definitely do.
That's and that's just like when people ask me my favorite movie or my favorite book, I have a million answers I could give. Right now, I'm trying to get my next book written, and Star Wars: The Old Republic is destroying all of my efforts.
Oh wow!
To get any writing done, just because it's Star Wars and it's a really badass MMO, and that's two different kinds of crack mixed together and covered in chocolate. So, but that's not my favorite game of all time. Man, Half-Life 2 really destroyed me and knocked me on my ass when I first played that game, because it was it was the first time I ever played a game where I felt like I was the star of a really badass science fiction movie. Yeah. And Mass Effect 2 was that way as well. I haven't started playing Mass Effect 3 yet, but I don't know. I oftentimes say, there are a lot of classics. I have a lot of classic favorites, but as far as playability, games I played the most over and over again. I would say Half-Life 2 and also Braid. I was addicted to Braid for a while. But endless console games like Metroid and the Mega Man series I played endlessly. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm naming favorites.
No, this is we want to hear this. We want to hear what Ernie Cline plays.
Yeah, but plus and all the stuff in the book, obviously. But I have a really embarrassingly large emulator collection and ROM collection, and I like to just browse through lists of all the games that I have, and just marvel that I could play any of them. I don't play them; I just enjoy knowing that I could play them. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway,
totally.
like Black Tiger. Yes.
Exactly. I have Black Tiger, but Black Tiger probably wins because Black Tiger is the one I have in my garage. I actually bought a coin-op Black Tiger machine, and the whole second. That one of the challenges in the book, as you guys not to ruin it for the guys who haven't finished it yet, but one of the challenges has to do with Black Tiger. So and Black Tiger was a game that I could solve on 1 quarter back in the 80s. A lot of my friends could too, and so Black Tiger probably wins. I took like 15 minutes to answer that question, so I'm going to try to.
It's all good. It's all good. Hey, Ernie, I must know, what is your favorite Star Wars game?
Favorite Star Wars game has to be the original Atari vector graphic.
Yeah, nice.
Star Wars game, just because that was so burned into my memory. And I remember seeing one that had an actual like headphone jack into the yoke steering wheel, so you could put you could put like your Walkman headphones on, and usually in a loud arcade you couldn't hear the sound of the game anyway, so you could, and dude, putting on a headphone and playing that sit down vector graphic Star Wars arcade game was like the closest I'd ever been to like a flight simulator in my when I was like 12 years old. It blew my mind. So that's one of my favorites.
Right on. It's a great one. It's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, but there's so many great Star Wars games. I played the hell out of those early NES Star Wars games, those platform Star Wars games. I don't know if they ever made Return of the Jedi, but they made Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, and those they were awesome.
Freaking hard though.
Hard as hell. Yeah.
Hard as hell, especially once you get down, like near the end levels, like get to Cloud City and stuff like that. Yeah, but I love those. That's the curse and the joy of platform games. It's like repetition. Like, oh god, I'm gonna do it again. Until I get through. Yeah.
And the Super Star Wars trilogy on Super Nintendo is pretty good too. All 3 of them. It's classic.
Yeah. They're badass.
Yeah. Right on.
I just had to say, when I got to the part in the book with the challenge that we're not spoiling,
Oh, sorry.
to hear mention of Black Tiger was amazing, because it was, as far as I knew, not a really well-known arcade game, but certainly one that snared me at a young age. So I was so glad to see it getting mentioned.
I couldn't believe it either when I got to that section of the book. I'm like, oh my god, Rob is gonna flip out because he used to work on an arcade machine.
Yeah, I used to work for a guy who distributed arcade machines and collected the money out of them. I started when I was 16, and he had a pile of them in his garage, and I, riding my BMX by, skidded to a stop and stared drooling.
Sweet.
And I asked him if I could work on them with him. One of the games he had in his garage was a Black Tiger, and every day after school I was allowed to go in and play as much as I want unlimited.
Oh, that's amazing, dude. Black Tiger was like a bomb dropped on my town. There was one, we had 2 I lived in a really small town in Ohio too, so it's weird that we had 2 Black Tiger machines, but there was one in the bowling alley game room in Ashland, Ohio, and there was one at the student union, and like 2 of my friends nearly dropped out of college because of Black Tiger, because they were skipping class and not studying, and they were just playing Black Tiger like constantly with the semester that arrived. And I got so that I played it so often that I could, I knew the game so well that I could play it on 1 quarter, and that was like an hour and a half of gameplay for like a quarter, which was like, that was really on my high school, on my fast food job budget, that was a really good value. So
right.
I was a huge, and Black Tiger, I mean, it's like for a D&D nerd, which is what I was, that was just like the perfect game, like you could like, and that's what I loved about the, I think I mentioned that in my book too, like the Wise Man weapon stores that are like, you're in this dungeon, on your way to fight dragons, and there are these like wise mans who's like set up little like convenience store shops that sell you weapons and stuff in the dungeon. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Yeah. I thought that was hysterical. Like these guys like set up, little convenience stores. And Zenny coins is the money used in Black Tiger. Like every time you get some money, like you collect Zenny coins, and that became like a thing amongst my friends when we were growing up. We would like you when we owed each other money, it would be like, hey, you owe me some Zenny coins. Like, where's my Zenny money? So Black Tiger was like a huge game for me in high school, and like I know a lot of dudes that was their game.
Make sure to follow us, the AllGenGamers podcast, on Facebook and Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube and in iTunes. And don't forget about those iTunes ratings, guys. We appreciate those. And for all other info, links, and our forum, please visit www.allgengamers.com.